Psychedelics Anonymous has had a choppy run-up from where it minted. It's currently sitting at around 8x the mint price with a large distribution of holders. There have been some large profit takers and it looks like it's going to keep going up right before the reveal. Let's jump in and check out the post-drop stats. What I will say about Psychedelics Anonymous is that if you actually want to get an overview of the project, I've done an overview video up there. We're just going to get straight into the statistics. The floor price is currently 0.75, and the mint price is 0.088. And we've got 7,300 owners out of 9,300 items, which is a very large distribution of holders, and we'll get into that shortly. Now, just jumping straight into the statistics, we can see that Psychedelics Anonymous, it was deployed 5 days ago, and you've got the NFTs in circulation. But with the average price here, the average price is this blue line, we can see that it is just running up. Now, this little dip that you see here in the average price, that isn't actually anything. That's because that was the public mint day. So we've got the huge volume on the sort of pre-sale day, then huge volume on the public sale day. Now, what you can notice here is that even though the volume is dropping, it is sitting flat. When a little bit of volume kicks in, this just runs up. So that's how we're getting this average price sitting at above that 0.7 mark, which is really good, really healthy to see. When we have a look at the price range, we can see that the similar story, it's just running up constantly. Basically getting to a point where if anyone's really bought into this project, they're most likely sitting in profit currently. And this is before the reveal. So I'm going to butt in real quick and say that Psychedelics Anonymous actually has 4 parts to their project. You've got the Genesis pass, you've got the in real life pass, you've got the metaverse pass, and then the component pass. So this is just looking at the Genesis collection, the profile picture collection, and I may have a look at the other collections. If you do want to see that, drop a comment below, hit up that like button, and then I can jump in and kind of cover that in one piece of content. Anyway, back into it. When we have a look at the individual transactions, what we can see here is that even though it is wavy and it's kind of bumping up, it seems to be hitting a kind of floor at around that sort of 0.4 mark. It has dipped a little bit lower previously on the 24th of December, but overall, it's still kind of running up. The fact that this line is in an uptrend is what you want to see when it comes down to this project. But I will say, and this is one big caveat, this is because we haven't been revealed yet. So there is going to be this run up. When there is a reveal, there will most likely be a pullback, and I'll get to that shortly. Also, real quick, the tool that I'm using is Nansen. If you want to get an overview of Nansen, I've actually done a video up here, a video tutorial. It's long. This is a paid software, but it is very good when it comes down to the stats and analytics when it comes down to NFTs. When we have a look at the top balances, top balance 80, then we've got 66, and then we run down to round at the top 10 at around 15. When we get to the sort of top 100 holders, they're essentially holding 4 or more. I have seen in the Discord chat, there are lots of people that want to hold multiple different sets. So this is where you kind of get it so they can get additional utility. But saying that, this is why you're getting a very good distribution. Once we kind of get to the top 100, 4 or more, even when we end up sort of getting to the top sort of 50, that's 5 or more. There's only a sort of a small percentage of people that are holding a large sum of the NFTs, which is very good to see when it comes down to the strength in the project. Now, this is the next part that I'm excited about when it comes down to this project. That is the unique holders of this project. It maxed out at 7,355, and it's since then tapered off a little bit, and it's sitting at around that 7,300 mark. Now, the supply is 9,300, so this is a very large percentage. Having a look at the distribution, a lot of people have sort of bought it. 96% of the addresses in the NFTs have been bought and held and haven't been sold. Saying that, we are waiting for the reveal, so that isn't an anomaly right there. When we have a look at the people, the percentage holding one NFT, we're sitting at 86%. 86% is really high. It's what I like. I would kind of usually say a project should be sitting between sort of 60 and 70 or 50 and 70%. The fact that this is sitting in the 80s, the mid 80s, is very good, and it shows a lot of diversity, and it shows that the holders of the project are retail holders and they kind of want to see this project through, which I see as a good strength moving forward. Having a look at the diamond hands, we can see the same kind of stat where you've got 8,700 have not been sold. So there's only been about 1,000 on the market that have kind of sort of washed around and traded between hands, between sort of people trying to buy, sell, flip, which is good because it shows that the people that actually did get on the whitelist and actually did get their hands on them are essentially holding them. Now, the fun one when it comes down to the profit leaderboard, we can see here that the top profit taker, 33 ETH, which is a sizable bag. After that, we get 27. Then to round out the top 10, 1.92. Now, this is what I'm saying by the retail holders holding on and thinking that there's some value in this, because usually with a profit leaderboard, to see a discrepancy of almost 15 when it comes down to the top 10 profit takers, like sort of essentially number 1 and number 10, is crazy. I would have expected this to at least been rounding out the 3 or the 4 ETH. So it shows that people are waiting to see where this can go. And I think that is due to Vultura kind of being very active on Twitter and kind of keeping the community engaged when it comes down to Twitter and on Discord. Now, having a look at the top 5 buying addresses, what we can see here is the entry points of the top 5 buying addresses. What you will notice is that there is an uptrend and a trajectory when it comes down to the buying addresses. There was a huge clump between sort of 0.3 and 0.4 where they got in. They're currently sitting at sort of they doubled their money. Then we've got a clump around that 0.5 and then another clump around that sort of 0.45 to 0.5. This means that if there is a reveal and a price floor does come down to below those numbers, you would be getting in at a better entry point than the top 5 buying addresses. And the strange thing about smart money is that usually smart money is more conservative and buys in at a lower price than the top 5 buying addresses. But with the smart money, what they've done is they've essentially bought in at any point that they can. There's a huge big bar on the sort of first pre-sale day. Then we've got another little line on the public sale day. But other than that, the smart money is just trying to get in and hold on to this project. And I do believe that this is because of the way that the team have sort of communicated with other people and other holders, and that's kind of building a little bit of FOMO when it comes down to it. Also, the fact that the team are connected with some of these smart money, that could also play into it. When we have a look at the recent transactions, what we can see here is that over a 1 hour period, we're going to be getting around 15 sales. So with this in mind, what we can do is we can head over to OpenSea, we can hit buy now, and then what we can get is we get 15, we can end up getting to around that sort of 0.77 mark, then another hour, we can get to almost the 0.8 mark. Now saying that, that is contingent on people not actually listing any of their items and the momentum continuing when it comes down to current transactions. So basically what I'm taking away from here is that if you're in this for a quick flip, you would have to wait 3 or 4 hours for it to at least kind of bump up sort of 0.1. So it might not be a good decision because it is quite thick at the moment where the current floor is. So overall, what do I think about the post-drop stats when it comes down to Psychedelics Anonymous? What I'm loving here is I'm loving the distribution of holders to the items itself. That is very high, it's very good. Now, I was slightly skeptical when it came down to the offering of the whitelist and all the whitelist spots on Twitter, because what you end up happening is people were essentially being able to mint for 0.08, then immediately list for around that sort of 0.4 mark, which then meant that it kept the price floor quite low because you would have people coming in and undercutting. But what I'm starting to see here now that it's played out a couple of days, is that essentially the people that wanted to make that quick flip, that quick profit, that wanted to make that sort of 0.4, 0.5 ETH have been kind of wiped out. And now we're starting to get a bit of that run up, and you can see a bit of that run up over here on the last day. So where I see this project currently going is I do think that it will continue to run up slightly as we get to the reveal. I don't think it's going to have a blow off top beforehand. I don't think we're going to get to a 1.5 ETH. I think we might get to a sort of a 0.85 or even a 9. If we do get to a 1, I will be a little bit surprised, just because it looks like it's currently slowing down when it comes down to the price floor and the transactions. Saying that, I am a holder of Psychedelics Anonymous, so if that happened, I would be very helpful, but I'm just being conservative when it comes down to it. If you're looking at getting into this project for a flip before the reveal, I don't think it is a smart option because of the price and where it has currently gone from. there was an entry point at around that sort of 0.3, 0.4 mark. You could have almost doubled your money then, but now we're getting to essentially price discovery phase when it comes down to the pricing of the NFT. So I feel like it'll be a little bit harder for that to run up. Saying that, it could easily run up from here, but I'm just being conservative. I think if you are a holder of Psychedelics Anonymous, if you are in this for monetary gain, be aware, be alert when it comes down to the reveal, because you may want to actually kind of sell out, especially if you got in at that mint price, because you're getting close to a 10x. Essentially, a 0.7 or a 0.8 ETH is sizable to your holdings and your ETH worth, then it may be worth offloading if you're not interested in seeing this project out and you're just interested in it for the money, because the way that the price is currently running, it looks like it's running up quite fast. But having a look here over the last day or so, we've kind of peaked out, pulled back, and then gone back up. So I don't know how much further it can actually run up. I am a long-term holder of this project. Vultura is an Australian. This is a heavy Australian project. I want to be supporting an Australian project and try to get this as a hub for NFTs when it comes down to Australia. So for me, I'm holding on to this project long-term. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to be flipping it. And I think that is also some of the psychology that's playing into this and why we're getting the run-up that it's currently looking at. What do I think will happen to Psychedelics Anonymous when the reveal happens? Looking at the charts and where things are currently sitting, I do think we will get around sort of the 0.4 to 0.5 mark. The reason I've got that is the average price has kind of essentially rode the 0.5 mark for sort of 3 days. Now, the fact that it rode that for around 3 days makes me think that that is where people see the entry point and essentially the price floor of the project. So I can see a price floor coming in at that aspect, saying that there have been projects in the past that people have expected to drop and people have eaten up the supply and it's never actually been able to kind of drop down. But after a reveal, typically there is a drop, and I see a drop going down to around that sort of 0.5 mark or as low as the 0.4. So overall, that's where I see Psychedelics Anonymous going in the short-term pre-reveal and after reveal. Hopefully you found value in this project. If you really did, head down there, hit up that subscribe button, and while you're also down there, hit that like button as well. It helps out with the YouTube algorithm, but it also lets me know what type of content you like so I can keep producing it to give you more value when it comes down to your NFT trading career. Overall, it's been a pleasure having you with me. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.